Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you yet another new comic book haul. These are put out every single week whenever I get my new comics at my local comic shop. So this week I've got a pretty nice week of books. Let's pull these out of the bag as usual. And now, here's our fat stack of books this week. Now that we've got these comics out of the bag, we've got to get the bag out of the way. Alright then, let's get right into it. So, just to kick things off, this is sort of an extra. I've got the Marvel Previews book for, I think this is August 2021. So, if I can get this on the stand, these are just the Marvel Previews books. They show whatever issues Marvel's going to be putting out in the upcoming month, so I'll use this to figure out what I'm going to be getting in August. And now on to the actual comics that I've gotten this week. There's 7 different issues, 6 from Marvel and 1 from Image. So just to start things off, let's get it out of the way. From Image Comics, I've got Spawn number 318. I think this is the Todd McFarlane variant cover. We see on the cover there, the King is coming. That's referencing Spawn's universe, which is going to be starting, I think, next month. In June, they're going to be kicking off the Spawn's universe one-shot, and they're just going to be expanding the world of Spawn, introducing some new characters, and just bringing together some different Hellspawn and other Spawn characters into teams. But for now, we've just got the main Spawn title, and everything is leading into this Spawn's universe event. For this last story arc, we've been seeing Spawn teaming up with like a medieval Spawn against a bunch of other Hellspawn who have come through like a Terran reality. I've only recently started getting this title, I think since like issue 314 or so, I was pretty new to it, but it was a really good jumping on point where I did come in. Everything was pretty understandable, and what they did reference that I hadn't read, I could still easily catch up on what was going on. And Spawn is actually only a $2.99 book, which cannot be said for a lot of titles that are coming out in this day and age. And it's a quality comic. You get the full 20 pages with full color and everything. The art is great. The art has been by Carlo Barberi on this book recently. So I really recommend Spawn for everyone who hasn't been reading it, especially since it's leading into this whole expansion into Spawn's universe. So yeah, that's Spawn number 319. We'll see where this goes and how it leads into that event. And kicking it off for my Marvel issues this week, first off, we've got Alien number 3. Another huge release. The series has been really good so far, and I hope that they keep up the great work that the creative team has been doing so far throughout the rest of the series. As far as I know, it is ongoing. It's mostly been centering around Gabriel Cruz, who's a retired worker for the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. I think he got kind of laid off. They didn't want him working for them anymore. But now he's been hired again because his son, Danny, got into some trouble in the Epsilon station up in space and was like unleashed some xenomorphs in that space station. His son is part of an anti-Weyland-Yutani group which was trying to infiltrate that Epsilon station, I guess blow it up so that they could stop leaving such a bad environmental impact, but that went horribly wrong. They unleashed a bunch of xenomorphs, and we haven't actually seen his son since I think issue 1, so we don't know if his son is still alive, but he was tasked with going back onto the ship despite all of the xenomorphs that are running loose in it, and it's really just going back to the roots of what the first Alien movie was. Just really a horror comic. I don't know if they're just going to be showing little clips from different points in Alien history, or if this is going to be telling one like long continuous story. I'm not sure how they're going to go about making this happen with this ongoing series, but it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, the art is by Salvador Larroca, and this series has been great so far. I hope they can keep it up. We'll see what they can do with it. That's Alien number 3. Now next up from Marvel this week, I've got 2 different Heroes Reborn issues, just a main title and then a tie-in as well. So first, let's kick it off with Heroes Reborn, issue number 4. I've looked inside at the interior art of this one, and the art is absolutely insane. It's done by James Stokoe in this issue, who does everything himself, the pencils, colors, inks, and everything. It has like a really rainbow color palette. Heroes Reborn, every issue there's a completely different artist. Jason Aaron is the writer throughout all of the series, except it basically is set in this world where the Avengers never happened. Instead, the Squadron Supreme are the Earth's mightiest heroes, and we've just been seeing every issue a different member of the Squadron Supreme spotlighted. So this issue, it's Dr. Spectrum, who we see here on the cover, battling this universe's version of Thanos, who's, instead of having Infinity Stones, has like Infinity Rings. So I guess it's a mixture between the Mandarin's like 10 rings that he wears and the Infinity Stones. So we'll see their take on this universe's Thanos. I've also heard that Rocket Raccoon is supposed to appear in this issue. Jason Aaron has done a really good job with all the world building and character details. Just see all these little differences between this Squadron Supreme universe and the regular one that we usually see in Marvel Comics. So yeah, that's issue number 4. I'm excited to read this one. And then that Heroes Reborn tie-in that I got this week is Magneto and the Mutant Force #1. So this is the first Heroes Reborn tie-in that I've actually gotten through the event so far. I think there were a total of 3 different tie-ins as well as that main issue that came out this week. This issue was actually a recommendation from someone in the comment section of one of my videos about a week back, so thank you for recommending that. And I wasn't expecting to actually be able to get this issue because my comic shop hasn't had any of the tie-ins to Heroes Reborn on their shelves, but I guess this one they did. I was able to pick up this issue. Magneto, I guess, is the leader of the X-Men in this reality. I'm forgetting exactly what the description of this issue was. What I do know, though, is that in the Heroes Reborn universe, mutants are once again hated and feared. In House of X and Powers of 10 in the main Marvel universe, since then, the mutants have had their own island, Krakoa. They've had their own nation and have really been thriving as like one of the world's richest like countries. Basically, they've had it pretty good for the last year or so. But now we're getting another look at what we used to get with mutants: a world where they're hated and discriminated against, where they're fighting back against the Squadron Supreme, like we see on the cover here by Nick Bradshaw. All right, next up this week, I've got Vader Bill #3. So the first 2 issues were very good. This is another comic where the one person does pretty much everything. This is written, penciled, and inked by Daniel Warren Johnson. I think the colors are the only thing he doesn't do. Those are done by Mike Spicer in this miniseries. But yeah, like I was saying, the art has been really good so far, as well as the writing. They've got a pretty solid story going that I think will be wrapped up pretty nicely in this 5-issue miniseries. But basically, Vader Bill is stuck in this horse form that he's most famously known as being in this form. But in his actual natural form, he looks more human-looking. So in this comic specifically, he's trying to reassemble Stormbreaker, which is the hammer that we see him like super gluing on the cover here. And Stormbreaker was actually destroyed in a recent issue of Thor, and so he's had no way to revert back to his Corbinite form since then, because he would use the hammer to convert himself. So he got instructions last issue on how to get a whole different weapon from Odin that will restore him. It's been pretty good so far. So yeah, that's Vader Bill issue #3. Alright, now we're down to just the last couple issues that I've got this week. The first one here is X-Men issue #20. This is probably the most excited I've been for a Dawn of X book in a really long time, because this is like continuing what actually happened in House of X and Powers of 10. So, of course, like I was saying earlier in the video, about 2 years ago at this point, Jonathan Hickman revamped the whole X-Men franchise with House of X and Powers of 10, in which he established Krakoa and the mutants forming their own nation after being hated and feared for so long. And Powers of 10 was basically just exploring the past, present, and future of the X-Men. And we saw a future in which this robot that's on the cover here, Nimrod, has like asserted dominance, I think, over all of the X-Men. He's working with this corporation, and we as the readers know that they could be a big threat to mutant kind since we saw that future in Powers of 10, and we really haven't seen that corporation explored since like very early issues of X-Men. It's also been just a really long time since an issue of this series came out, probably a couple months. I think it's been on a short hiatus. I'm excited to see where they go with this, what they can do with Nimrod, and tying it back to the beginning with House of X and Powers of 10. This is written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Francesco Mobili, so I'm really looking forward to this one. That's X-Men #20. And now for the very final issue that I picked up this week. This one is Miles Morales Spider-Man #26. This is the second part to this Clone Saga story arc in Miles' book. We've been seeing, I think, 3 different clones who are posing as him, committing crimes, so everyone thinks that he's a bad person now. Last issue was an oversized one and a really great issue. The series has been pretty good lately overall. It has a nice lighthearted tone, but of course there's still some pretty important stuff going on in this Clone Saga story arc. We see on the cover here Peter Parker. Miles was teaming up with him last issue, and they were coming face to face with these clones for the first time. And they're not exactly human. You can see they're all warped, some of them have strange features and extra powers that Miles doesn't have. It's written by Saladin Ahmed, the artist by Carmen Carnero, so I'm very excited to see where they can go with this. I think this is only going to be like a 3 or 4 issue story arc. I was just looking at the August solicitations, and they're dealing with the aftermath of this in like August, so it's going to be pretty short, I guess, but there's supposed to be some pretty important, like, life-changing things going on in Miles. So we'll see where they can go with this. That's Miles Morales Spider-Man #26. I'm excited to read this one. Alright, well that's every single one of the brand new issues that I picked up this week. I want to know what you guys got though. Let me know down in the comment section below. Which one are you the most excited to read, or if you already read your issues, which one is your pick of the week? And also, before we go, if you didn't enjoy this video at all, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can also click the notifications bell, which is sitting right next to it. You'll be notified every single time I post a new video if you don't want to miss any. So that's everything from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye, guys.